Hey there, can you guys hear me now?
Oh, loud and clear, 5 by 5.
Perfect. Lucky you.
Don't even need hearing aids.
Perfect. Nice to see
Terrific.
you guys.
Welcome, Councillor Pickard. So I take it you're going to be joining us through this meeting all evening. Great.
Yeah.
Let's just to start off by doing our land acknowledgement, just acknowledging that we're on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of Mowich and Musqueam people. And I'd like to take this opportunity to call the people's meeting to order at 7 o'clock. Introduction of late items. I see we have some late items here, Mr. Roy. Did you want to introduce those into the agenda, sir?
Yes, Your Worship, we've got two items from Councillor Pickard
Okay.
under new business, and we've got an item from Councillor Pickard's was an aquaculture item and a forestry item. And we have an item from Councillor Waymeyer under forestry.
And there,
And we've got our delegation.
and we have two delegates this evening too to include. And is everybody on council happy with those additions? Any problems? No? Councilor Rimmer?
My new business is very similar to Councillor Pickard's new business one. If it pleases her, I'd like to kind of combine them if that's appropriate.
Councilor Pickard?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Through the chair, Counselor Waymeyer. That sounds great. I look
Perfect.
forward to it.
So all four items are received into the agenda. Terrific. So the agenda be adopted as revised. Move Counselor Waymar, second Counselor Fawson. Any discussion? Seeing none, call for the question. All in favor? Done. Oh, I still got your AVIC ticket. Next item, agenda adoption of the minutes, that the regular meeting minutes from April 7, 2025 be adopted as presented. Who care to move it? Counselor Pringle, second Counselor Waymar. Any discussion on the items? No discussion, call for question, all in favor? Done. Public statutory hearings, seeing none, moving on. Unfinished business, seeing none, moving on. Guess we have the ladies go first tonight, Greg. That's gentlemen. Oh, you guys can fight it out. It's the Canadian battle. No, you go, please, you go first. You go first. I'll pick. Gayleen, would you care to step up to our mic there and introduce yourself and maybe give us your title? And I understand you're going to give us some overview on the status of our health center and health in the region. So thank you very much for coming out.
Thank you for inviting me. My name is Gayleen Jacobson. I'm the Rural Health Service Manager for West Coast Clayoquot Sound, one of my sites being Gold River, and this is my home site. So as you're all aware, we have a primary care urgent emergency center here in Gold River. We have 4 physicians and a half-time NP currently, with a full staff of I have 3 positions out of 4 positions filled for my nursing staff.
Wow.
Things are looking good heading into summer. And any questions, I guess, from, but
What's your secret for attracting and retaining healthcare professionals in Gold River? Because it seems like that's a real challenge provincially as well as nationally. So what's your secret?
I don't know that I have a secret, but I think it's the team and the reception they get from our community when they do present here. Community is really receptive and appreciative of the care that they receive here. At least that's what we hear. And I think that plays a big part into allowing the nurses to do what they're trained to do. And that just that small town feel, I think, is what keeps them here. Other than that, I'm not sure.
Perfect. Counselors, did you have any questions that you'd like to direct to the manager? I got the manager title down correct. Yeah, Counselor Pringle.
Thank you for coming. I just wanted to say thank you so much. There's been so many kids sick at school and everything, and we just really appreciate that you're on it. And I like the last memo that you put out about the ER, about keeping it you know, open, and it's not just to come in because you have a splinter or something. And we really just appreciate all your efforts. Everyone there is just goes above and beyond. So thank you.
Thank you for that. And just in regards to the memo, one of the reasons is that we put it out is to make sure people realize that our after hours and our weekends, that is our nurses and our physicians that are supporting us during the week. So when people phone with non-emergent issues, of course, that eventually causes burnout to our staff and stuff. So it's really important. We recognize that health issues do come up and we're happy to see them, but it's also nice to have the community be mindful of phoning us. We do have other options that are available, such as 811 and of course 911 if they need to come into us and stuff, but we
Mhm.
appreciate it.
And I think it's important for the public to acknowledge and realize that the people that you have staffing your day shifts, your nursing staff and your doctors, they're the ones that are on call after hours that respond to these emergency calls. So they're still holding down their full-time job and providing that healthcare for our community, but also doing the emergency response after hours. So if it's something that can be done during regular hours, please come in during regular hours, because these people, although they're just wonderful, and they do terrific work at any time of the day or night. We can tire them out, we can wear them out, we can burn them out. So let's be conscientious of that and be really judicious in our use of our healthcare. Try and keep it during the day when it's their office hours if we can. Counselor, I didn't see your hand. I can't see a hand for. You're gonna have to let me know then. Counselor Pickard.
Yes, thank you through the chair. And thank you, Galen, for coming in and for your presentation and information. I just want to echo Councillor Pringle's sentiments that we're extremely grateful for you, your staff, the coordination of resources that you guys do, your care. It's outstanding. And I've had, not the pleasure of having some healthcare stuff with the family recently, but the pleasure of being in the care of you guys and your even just calling Campbell River to make sure everything's okay and checking in. And it's really been just, it's made me so proud to live here, and we feel so lucky. And Councillor Pringle and I and Mayor Lott were just in Nanaimo for the Association of Vancouver Island Coastal Communities, and a huge theme over and over was the challenges in healthcare, the healthcare crisis, the lack of doctors, lack of nurses, lack of care. And we have our own challenges in Gold River, but it's one thing we just kept looking at each other and saying, we're so lucky. We have amazing healthcare here. So thanks for being such a good leader, and thanks to all your team.
Thank you.
Any other questions that you'd like to direct towards manager? Just one thing in conclusion, Galen, is that we often like to seek out opportunities and understanding on how we as a council representing the community might be able to help out or advocate or promote our health center. Because like I said, we value it. It's a treasure in our community, and we really respect what you and your team do in keeping our community healthy and our region healthy. And if there's anything that you think that this council can do in terms of, I guess our role would be advocacy, we would like to hear about it without putting you on the spot, because I know it's politically sensitive too. You gotta be careful what you say, but if there's anything that you feel that the community as represented through the council can do to promote any of the issues that you might be dealing with, we'd be glad to undertake those. I know I certainly would be. So if there's anything you want to share right now, you could, if it's not going to get you in trouble, but
I think that's something I would take back. I don't really know. There's nothing pressing sitting right at the forefront, but it's nice to know in a small town, we all have to be part of the team and to get what we need. So I appreciate the offer.
yeah, we appreciate you, your staff, and the service that you provide, and also for you coming in and taking some of your personal time and to update us and keep us aware of what's going on in the community in terms of our health of our community. I think we have a very healthy community, and probably a lot of that can be attributed to you and your staff. So thank you again for coming in and sharing with us this evening, and we'll let you get back to the hockey game or skeet shooting or whatever else you do at night to relieve your tension.
Thank you.
Take care. Thank you very much. And I also have a pleasure of welcoming our staff sergeant who's our detachment commander. Greg Young, and he can give us a little update, and maybe follow up on the discussion we had with him last time he was in here, where we had to wrap up early. We weren't able to get to some of the things that he would like to hear from us in terms of what we as a council, hearing from our constituents, think would be policing priorities in Gold River. Thank you for coming out again. Appreciate that.
Thank you for having me. So I'm not sure exactly how to structure this, but I thought what I would do is just bring a list of the priorities that we identified for the previous year, and bring those forward. When I look at the things that we've been working on and the feedback that we've had from the various communities and the people in those communities, I do believe that the priorities that we have been working on are still the ones we should continue to work on. That being said, part of my job and part of ensuring a proper policing service delivery is that we consult with you guys regularly, and that we're flexible to change those priorities if new priorities arise.
Perfect.
So it's up to you, Mayor, if you'd like me to lay out what I've got listed first, or if you wanted some input from the councilors first, or how.
I'd much prefer to hear a review.
Okay.
And, my sentiment without tainting council's opinion is that my feeling when I was like reflecting on this is that I'm completely satisfied with the priorities that have been identified and how you're policing and your team's policing within the community. And I love it and carry on. I'm not quite sure how the priorities would change from my perspective, because I do, I've heard the priorities from previous years, and I've seen the benefits to the community, and I'm fully supportive of the priorities the way they're structured right now. However, I'm just one voice of 5 tonight, and there may be some other things that councilors have identified or constituents have brought to their attention that may be a higher priority than I'm thinking right now. So I'd love to hear a review and then hear what council's thoughts are.
For sure.
you,
So,
sir.
thank you. At the top of our list is reconciliation. I think the government has made this a priority, as has the RCMP. So it's something that we kind of keep in the forefront of our efforts, on a daily and weekly basis.
Great.
The big thing with that is positive community engagement. It's being visible in the communities. It's interacting with people positively. Sometimes in a setting, whether it's at a school or playing hockey, or like Constable Stubbs does with his Young Warrior program,
Yeah.
things like that, where we can, help build that trust and help, just help the community in a way other than, what's typically, I guess, seen as policing or enforcement activities.
Yeah. I love that.
Another part of that is, as I do with you, is meeting with the First Nations leadership and making sure that we're responsive to their needs and we're addressing the priorities that they have in their communities as well, because every community is a little bit different. The third thing is, and I spoke at length about this, but is our totem pole project. It was recently delivered last week, and it's gorgeous. It's 10 feet tall and it's about this thick, so it's huge. Sanford Williams did an incredible job with that. So I know it's just a symbol, but it's one that's going to be erected at our front door, which I really think will help solidify our commitment of the new detachment to the Nooka Sound communities and to the First Nations.
Agreed.
So that's the top priority. Before we do any policing, member wellness and development is very important. Making sure our employees are healthy and happy and whole before they hit the road is super important. So, working on creating developmental opportunities through mandatory training or enhanced training for, specialized investigations or things that are unique to Nooka Sound, like boat training, things like that. Just so making sure that our members are confident and they have the tools that they need to do the job effectively. And aside from that, giving them a nice, healthy workplace where we can lift weights,
Yeah.
which is a priority for the guys, but just come to work and feel good about themselves so we can do a good job, because policing can be nasty sometimes and it can be unpleasant, but we take care of each other, then we can hopefully do a good job of taking care of the community. One of the big things we've ramped up our efforts with over the past few months is road safety. You'll probably see us pulling over more cars and being more targeted with our enforcement in that. The school zones are a priority for us, making sure that kids are safe, but also impaired driving. I think that we had a recent incident where one of our vehicles was rammed by somebody driving drunk. And it really, I think, woke us up to the fact that, we don't get a lot of impaired driving charges community, but I do believe there's more that exist here than we're finding out about. So creating some more opportunities for target enforcement to discourage that behavior, with education as a priority and enforcement if need be. So that's one thing we'll be certainly carrying forward.
I noticed that.
Crime reduction, the core of our job is, fighting crime and keeping people safe. So trying to make a better, I guess, a more concerted approach to proactively target certain individuals who may be causing a large share of the problems in the communities. It's something that I think with a little bit of extra attention, we can do a better job at. So that's one thing we'll be working on. On that same vein with crime reduction is just enhanced oversight. So constant liaison with the Crown Council and making sure that we have the right supports to do thorough investigations so that when crimes are committed, we capture the best evidence and we can put forward the best cases to keep us safe. A big thing, especially in Tassus and Sahana, is visibility.
Yeah.
As we've talked or we've joked about before, Mayor, it's spreading us across the jurisdiction. So spending as much time as you can in each of the communities. I believe we're in Tassus, I think 149 days or 139 days last year, which I was quite proud of.
Good.
And then trying to get to the reserve daily. So, and that's on a proactive, in a proactive model, as opposed to just waiting for the phone to ring or the radio to go off. And that's really helped. But on that note as well, part of visibility is not just going to a community to check a box. It's, being out, talking to people, going to the schools and just, saying hi and being part of the community. So
Yeah, that engagement is so important.
it is, yeah. Especially in a small town where it's not quite as anonymous as in a big city. Here, people, when they call the office, they're not looking for a constable, whoever, they're looking for, John or Kyle or Nick or Jamie. So it's a lot more personal and it's, I think allows us to deliver better service.
Yeah, I think that that posture of your organization as being members of the community, engaged in the community and doing things in the community, like it just warms my heart when I go down to Gold River Senior Secondary and watch the teachers and the RCMP play basketball against the students, or I see Constable Johnson and others playing ball hockey with the kids, or I see RCMP officers out there coaching our children on the ice to play hockey. And at that point, I have a totally different perspective of the RCMP. They're members of the community at that point. They're part of our team, part of our family. So instead of some of the previous models that I've seen out there. So I really do appreciate that community policing perspective that the RCMP's embraced. That's great.
On that note, I would like to say that, a lot of those efforts that you see, those after hours efforts are, largely guys doing this on their own time because
That's
they want
what
to
I
be a part of
thought.
the community. So I think we are fortunate right now. And I believe we'll continue to attract good members to this area, but, attracting good people with strong families that want to actually be here and be part of it. So
Yeah, good working environment, good housing and a nice new building to work out of. Yeah, that's easy. And living in Gold River
It's
with
hard to
all the
complain.
blessings that Chris and I talked about at the beginning,
that's right.
easy sell.
So those are our big priorities. But then, like I said in the beginning, our priorities are just what we come up with kind of at the beginning of the year through consultation with our communities, through what we see at the detachment level, and through the more global priorities that we receive from our district, that being Island District or E Division. So what we do is we take everything, we put it together, we come up with a plan, and then we set measurable goals for ourselves to accomplish over the year. And then throughout the year, it's my obligation to meet with you all, meet with the community or anybody, like I always say, who has a concern
Yes.
can come to us and have a chat. Because I think part of being, part of policing is it's dynamic, but we also need to be flexible and reactive to a changing environment. So if the environment changes where we're policing, we need to change as well. So I want to commit, like I guess I always commit to, having an open door with you guys, but that's why I'm here. I'd like to receive any feedback or input you may have that can help shape policing in Nooka Sound.
Terrific. Thank you very much. Counselors, any questions for our detachment commander? You're all, as I am, really happy with our policing services in town? Yeah. Yeah. One of the things I like about Gold River is I don't see a lot of problems with drug abuse and substance abuse. I think you guys must be on that pretty good. I don't see a lot of issues with homelessness, so I think you must be on that pretty good too. And so I'm appreciative of that. And I guess that at all the priorities that you've identified, were things we endorsed last year, and I don't see any reason why we'd want to change the focus this year. So I'm very supportive of what you guys are doing and your priorities that you've identified. Counselor Pickard, do you have a question you'd like to direct towards our detachment commander?
Hi, thank you. Thanks to the chair and thanks, Greg, for coming in tonight and sharing the priorities. I know we talked last time about having a meeting and looking over them, so it's really great that you followed up and can come and share priorities from last year, and we can look at them and look forward and see if they're still the same. And I appreciate all the priorities that you said, and like your guys' outlook and how building community and being part of the community proactive is a big part of your priorities. So, and I think that really resonates with residents, and the community presence feels really part of the community and genuine and like tight knit. So thank you for that, and thanks to all your members for all they do.
Thank you.
Yeah, and one other thing I'm curious about is an update on your advocacy for getting another member or two for the Nootka Sound region. I was wondering how that's progressing.
It's stalemate right now, I'll say, but it's something that we're always pushing, or I'm always pushing for.
Good.
It's something I'll be discussing with our new district officer, Chief Superintendent Bruce Singer. He's going to be traveling up here for a detachment visit next month. So
Oh, terrific.
it's certainly something that I'll bring up with him. I don't know. I mean, I think every detachment commander is screaming for bodies.
No doubt.
Because the roles of policing is ever expanding. So everybody needs more bodies. I think we could use them, and that's my push. I think I made a pretty compelling case, and I think we could do a lot more with more. So
Got a large area to police.
we do, yeah, we absolutely do.
Terrific. Any other questions that you want to, Councillor Fossen?
Thank you through the chair, and thank you, sir, for being here tonight. I do just have one question. In regards to intoxication in public, myself, I've been noticing an increased presence of intoxicated youth at the plaza on the side of the Westgate Church area. And so I guess I could be coming and talking to you personally, privately for that. But I just wanted to say thank you for, there's been a large decrease in that in the area in the last 2 years that I've noticed. So
Good.
Thank you for that. And thank you for your efforts and your members' efforts in our community. So thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. And if you ever have concerns, like I tell people, please call. If it's a police matter, we'll help you with it. If it's not, maybe we can help counsel you on the best way forward. So, yeah.
Any other questions? No? Again, as always, thank you for taking your personal time and coming in, keeping us informed. I really appreciate it. It speaks volumes when people go up above and beyond what their requirements are within their job description in order to enhance their relationships with the community. So again, thank you, sir. Really appreciate that.
Thank you all.
You have a good evening.
You too.
And thank you for, to your wife too, for giving up all your personal time at night so that we can have you. Take care. Sweet. Night, Galen. Thanks for coming out. Take care. Have a good evening. Administrative reports, Jack Christensen Center free use discount rates. We'll go through them all. Start off with the first one. That council approved Gold River Chamber of Commerce to rent a room at the Jack Christian Center for the discounted rent and utility rate of $30 per month for 9 months of the year. Who'd care to move it? Councillor Waymeyer, second by Councillor Fossen. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Second one is that council approved the Gold River Food Network to rent a room and the boardroom at the Jack Christian Center for the agreed upon rent rate of $50 per month. Moved by Councillor Pringle, second by Councillor Fossen. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Third one is that council approved the Gold River Lions Club to rent a room at the Jack Christian Center for the discounted rent and utility rate of $30 per month for 9 months of the year. Who care to move that? Councillor Waymeyer. Second by Councillor Pringle. Any discussion? Call for the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. And the final one council approved Gold River Restorative Justice Society to rent a room at the Jack Christian Center for discounted rent and the utility rate of $30 per month for 9 months of the year. Moved by Counselor Fossin, second by Counselor Pringle. Any discussion? Seeing none, call for the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you all on that one. And just for clarification, there was one more, there was one had to do with the museum. And that they haven't brought us the appropriate required documentation yet, but they will in the future. Is that the understanding of Mr. Rivera?
I'm hoping so.
Okay,
Sorry.
Counsel, did you have something you want to talk about, Councilor?
Sorry, I just wanted to say, are we also going to do the Food Network extra room after this one?
What one?
The Food Network one was already done with. That's the $50.
That was the
month.
Oh, was that-
$50.
Okay, sorry, I thought that was the $30 one too. Okay,
No,
awesome.
No, the Food Network has one room that we've traditionally given free, and then the additional room that they're paying the $50 per month, and that they agreed on that due to the increased electoral demand that they have with their
Great.
units.
Thank you.
good with that, Councilor Pringle? Councilor Waymire, was something you wanted to inquire about? No, okay, moving on then. The next one will be the, under administrative reports is the official community plan and zoning bylaw review and update contract award. This one's a little more interesting. The number caught my attention until I found out, I reviewed it again and realized it's all grant money, so that made that took a bit of the sting out of it. The motion is that council authorize staff to award the contract for the official community plan and zoning bylaw review and update to McElhaney for $141,054. Moved by Councilor Waymire, second by Councilor Pringle. Discussion? Councilor Pringle?
I think this is a really good idea to the chair. I am looking forward to see what is old and what's going to be thrown away. I love this kind of thing. So this is really interesting to me. And do we have an idea of how long the review would take and when we would get an update for it? Thank you.
Mr. Rivera?
The game plan for this is that it's going to be done by the end of the calendar year. The timeline is looking to bring the draft bylaws to council in November.
And just for the taxpayer to understand and the resident of Gold River to understand is that this isn't Gold River taxpayer money that's paying for this study. It's going to, because we've got a grant from provincial government because they introduced that Bill 44 requiring us to update our OCPs and our zoning bylaws. Is that correct, Mr. Rivera?
That's correct. When they passed that legislation, the province provided funding to all the municipalities to help offset the cost of doing the legislative changes that they were insisting on. They were insisting on the update to these bylaws. At the same time, we'll be updating a couple other old bylaws, as I indicated in the report. McElhaney has also indicated looking about aligning some of the other relevant bylaws too, such as a subdivision bylaw. So I was quite pleased with the proposal that we received from McElhaney. Also, they're quite knowledgeable of the North Island and showed a lot of experience with smaller communities in their proposals.
And from what I can see in your report, it's a very robust competition with 9 applicants vying for the contract. So yeah, it's really good. And what was the grant total again?
The funding that the municipality received was $155,750.
Which easily covers $141,054. Great, thank you very much. Any other discussion that council wish to have or any other questions you want to direct toward the Minister? Seeing none, call for the question. All in favor?
I
Carried.
just had one question there. Sorry, Mayor Law, or one comment. Can you see, is the hand raised?
Called for the question and voted on, but if you have an inquiry, go ahead, Councilor Pickard. You can't change the outcome.
Okay, that's okay. Sorry, I don't know if you saw it was raised, but through the chair, we just had last week well, first of all, I like the quote, and McElhaney has lots of experience here, so I think, and it was a small town, so I think it'll be great for them to be looking at this. And as Councillor Pringle said, we do have a lot of outdated zoning and bylaws, and the OCP will be great to redo and look at. And last week, when we had the summit with Reineck, and in the summit on the Wednesday night and also the council presentation of the strategy on the Tuesday night, they mentioned both the times the importance of an updated OCP and updated zoning. And they had a few slides with a list of different kind of things to think about when it comes to time for updating our zoning and updating our OCP. So I was wondering if we wanted to look through that first before Bacalani does this huge review, or if we want to look and see if those are consistent with us, or maybe talk to John about them to get the list, or what anyone's thoughts are on those. They were really focused around kind of no single housing density and just maximizing density and really making the village the most suitable it can be to growth and expansion with the limited land we have, like say adding an Airbnb to each parcel of land, or just lower restrictions, and kind of maybe even merging some of our zoning classes.
I'll direct your question to Mr. Roy. Mr. Roy?
Thanks, Your Worship. Part of this process is that there is a public consultation. They'll also be meeting with council to have the discussions. Some of these points can be raised. At the end of the day, the goal of the OCP and the zoning, though, is to meet the vision of the community. So I know that Rhinebeck does have some things listed on there, but we also have to ensure that they also align with the vision of the community. So it will be quite the interesting conversations coming up, but this would be all factored in as through the different engagement sessions.
Thank you, Mr. Roy. Any subsequent questions, Councillor Pickard?
No, perfect. Thank you so much.
Terrific. Okay, moving on then. Reports from council. Councillor Fossen,
None at this time, Your Worship.
Councillor Pickard.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Through the chair, I just want to do a report on a couple different things that I attended over the last couple weeks since our last meeting.
Wonderful.
One was the ECDEV Summit with Rhinebeck consultants and local business leaders in our community. And I was very grateful to them. They've done an excellent job engaging with the community in that summit. And thanks to our active coordinator or active officer for bringing everyone together. There was really great discussions and participation with local industry experts and business owners. That was really positive and exciting. And everybody seemed really on board to learn about the strategy, learn about where we can grow, learn about what our strengths are and areas for improvement with our active plan in Gold River, and kind of looking for some low-hanging fruit and big picture goals for the village. Thursday, April 10th, I had the pleasure to attend a Zoom discussion with the Minister of Water, Lands and Resource Stewardship, the Honorable Randy Neal. And she wanted to hear concerns, priorities, and ways governments of different levels can work together. And I got a chance to speak about the conservation project underway in our area, led by Nootka Sound Watershed Society, the gravel project at the Mushlet River Outlet or Mushlet Lake Outlet you guys have heard about, and how despite support from multiple levels of government, First Nations, industry, nonprofits, and being completely independently funded, it's being held up, delayed, and possibly the feasibility compromised due to delays in provincial permitting process. And she recognized that this was a challenge within her ministry and that they need to expedite permits for conservation projects. So that was great. Friday, April 11th to Sunday, April 13th, I also was honored to attend AVIC with Mayor Lott, Administrator Roy, and Councillor Pringle. It felt like a really impactful and powerful gathering of locally elected officials on the island in a really critical time for Canadians, kind of just as the newly imposed U.S. tariffs came out. There were great sessions held on community healthcare, housing options, meeting processes and protocol, redefining community and economic development, and transforming coastal economic development and taking stock of the trade war, all really important issues. And I had the opportunity to have good discussions about issues that specifically challenge Gold River, such as BC Hydro and our lack of power, Western Forest Products representatives and our lack of permits in TFL 19, and the BC Salmon Farmers Association was there with aquaculture industry concerns and uncertainty and ideas going forward. And also had the opportunity to speak with colleagues that share similar challenges and look for opportunities to work together, such as TASFIS for regional collaboration for tourism, habitat restoration and salmon enhancement in Nootka Sound, and Port Hardy for our shared request to BC Hydro to update power projects in the North Island on their resolution and advocate for greater power here for development. I think we missed Councillor Waymeyer and Councillor Fawson, but really the big picture that I thought was to make our communities and region viable, economically diverse, and balance economic and environmental priorities. There was lists and lists of challenges and crises everywhere, but and with all the global uncertainty, but it was all of our neighbors and everyone on the island really looking at solutions and how we can create partnerships and leverage each other's skills, resources, and talents to ensure we're independent and strong and resilient as an area and as an island. And then Sunday, the 20th, I just wanted to say thanks to the Legion and all the volunteers for hosting the egg hunt and hot dogs for all the kids. In
Yep.
other news, the hot dogs and eggs, they're so amazing and they show up there, and we had every single weather system possible and spring come through. But it seemed like Gold River really came out of hibernation, and everybody was excited to get out and enjoy Nimkish Park, our central area, and just spend time together. And thanks for all the work they did. One more meeting Monday, April 21st. So yesterday, I had a chance to meet with Jennifer Woodland, the Grieg Seafood Managing Director, and also with our Village of Gold River ECDEV officer, and to catch up on recent aquaculture industry news, advocacy, and provincial government regulators, and where we as a municipality can push and put effort to advocate for them. Jennifer is in regular engagement with government and trying to push for a transition plan that's viable and realistic, and really fighting for all of our jobs in Gold River with the Griegs and the ancillary industries. So we're grateful to her. And there's some new business coming on, kind of a next step that we can do as an important letter of support to the Ministry of Jobs, Economic Development and Innovation, in which aquaculture has been gaining traction as a massive driver of our BC economy. And there's lots of opportunity for growth and innovation there. And close to done. We just want to say congrats to our neighbors at MMFN for the repatriation of their culturally significant items. In April, earlier in April, they took back possession of over 100 culturally significant items that are part of their culture, and Chief McQuina has been really advocating and pushing for a long time. So congratulations to them. I know it's a big piece of their history and their learning and keeping their kind of culture alive. And thanks to West Coast Marine Terminal staff for facilitating this delicate delivery and making the transition of these historical and culturally items smooth with their unique facilities. And lastly, thanks to Ken Smith. I chatted with him before the weekend, and he's at the Lions campsite managing it. And they had 50 to 70 kayakers coming in town for Heber Fever. And I drove the highway out of town, and I think there was like 250 kayaks coming. So hopefully it went smooth, and thanks to him for hosting that event. That's all. Thank you.
That's it.
That's it.
Thank you, Councillor Pickard.
That's all.
I would want to have to follow that. Councillor Pringle.
I guess I have to. To the chair, and thank you, Councillor Pickard. You said everything I wanted to say, except for that we did go to the AVICC, and it was a very good weekend we had. I just would like to say, because since Nikki had talked about the other forums and workshops that we had attended, we also attended the Community Healthcare Solutions.
Yes.
That was on the Friday morning, and I really wish that could have been all day. Nikki and I were totally blown away by all the information we got for helping people with addictions and some of the programs that they're doing in Nanaimo and Campbell River and small housing and tiny houses. And it was a really good forum. And I'm hoping that next time that will be something that will be longer than 2.5 hours. And it was really great to connect with everyone there. I saw a lot of people that I had seen at the other AVICC that we went to, and I really got to see the vendors this time. I didn't get to see the vendors too much last time. So it was really great to see how many people support small government and I guess big government too, but they're all very happy to see us and to talk to us, and they're all very open. And I just want to give a big shout out to CUPE, because they had 2 tables there, and there was lots of really.
I thought you might.
there was lots of really good swag everywhere, and I just want to thank them for the great weekend. And other than that, I don't have anything else to report, but thank you. And thank you, Vicky, or I don't know why I'm saying Vicky today. I was calling it Wednesday and it's only Tuesday. So thank you, Nikki, for your report too, because you covered a lot of stuff. Thank you.
I think Easter long weekend does that to
Councillor
all of us. Yeah.
Thank you.
Councillor Waymire.
Nothing to report.
I'm very fortunate because I get to go last and I don't have to reiterate everything that Councillor Pickard has brought to our attention and Councillor Pringle. Other than one thing that I thought was really important when representatives from our community go down to these forums is we get an opportunity to lobby and advocate on behalf of issues that are really important to the village of Gold River. And one of the things that I enjoyed was having access to the ministers. And one of the ministers that I got an opportunity to spend a good amount of time with after a presentation was our new Minister of State for Local Government and Rural Communities that represents us. Her name is Brittany Anderson, and she's from the Kootenay. She's an MLA that represents Kootenay Central. And in our conversation, we went over some of the economic challenges that Gold River is facing with all the different industries that are basically facing lots of different headwinds. And she expressed, as well as her parliamentary that was there, that they would like to work with the village and work with us closely and seeing if they can help us with some of the regulatory issues that we may have or any of those regulatory impediments. And so she was actually willing to roll up her sleeves and get engaged. And she's promised me that she's willing to come and visit the community or have Zoom meetings with myself and any of our business leaders in different sectors in our community that may want to have a conversation or a kind of gateway into the actual cabinet. So my first proposal was hers that we would chat, we'd get together with the manager of West Coast Marine Terminals, Kent O'Neill. They have some regulatory issues that they're dealing with. They're holding up some things that they want to get going down on that site. And she's really open to doing that. And that was those are the things I really appreciate when I go to those conferences, because I often ask myself, is a taxpayer getting value for us going down there and being there? And I think that that's where the real value is, in the networking and building relationships and then getting access to the people that can influence decisions that would be beneficial for Gold River. So in that respect, I thought it was a worthwhile investment of our time to be down there. And not only that, is we got an opportunity to, like we said, meet with a lot of people, get a lot of good presentations down there. And it's nice to go to the trade shows and spend time with the vendors, because you get to meet people from places like Western Forest Products who have a display on and talk about all the things that are going on in the forest industry and all the challenges they have. So yeah, I really enjoyed doing that. So, and I'm glad that I went down. I was kind of reluctant to go down, but after having the opportunity to meet with the minister and the parliamentary secretary, I thought it worked out really well. I also got an opportunity to meet with Brian Kinset. He's the executive director for BC Salmon Farmers, and talk to them about the challenges that their industry is having and how we might be able to advocate on their behalf and what we've done in the past in order to support the industry. So it's kind of neat to actually meet Brian and his staff and talk to him about what's going on in that industry and how we may be able to help them out. And he's also very open to coming to the village of Gold River and talking to our council and community about fish farming and the future of fish farming and the industry. So I thought that was really valuable too, considering how big of a component of basically our free enterprise system is in Gold River. Like, I think these guys are probably one of the biggest employers in town now, and they've got a lot of challenges. So I really did enjoy doing the AVIC, and I would go again. And I was talking to my fellow counselor here earlier about visiting the folks down at the Gold River Golf and Country Club. They've got the course open. They've done a lot of great work over the off season. It's in incredible shape. I had a chance to golf with the geezers this morning, and it was a wonderful experience because the course is in such good shape. But I also got another tour through their kitchen. They did a massive upgrade to their kitchen over the off season. It was pretty scary in there. And, oh boy, it's state of the art now. First class, did a great job in there. And it was all done mostly by volunteers and some contract workers. So that was great. So, and then I talked to their office manager, and their office manager, she's trying to set a new record. She wants to get 100 memberships this year. Last year, that'd be a new record for her. Last year, she kind of got to 98, 99, and she couldn't get over that 100 mark. She's at 94 right now. And she's got 15 new people that taken out full-time memberships. So if you haven't got your membership yet, I would encourage you to get down there. You'll make Kim, the office manager, very happy if she breaks her 100. That's her goal. So yeah, thank you very much. And I won't go on with the other things because we got a longer agenda, but anyways, thanks for hearing me. I'll move on then to information items. The work in progress report that we have, who'd care to move that? Counselor Waymeyer, second by Counselor Pringle. And is there any discussion that you guys would like to have on it? I don't see any new items on there. It's just the items that are on there, are work in progress. Any questions for the administrator on any of the items that are on there? Hearing none, no discussion, call for the question. All in favor? We've got that one done. This one's a Nukik Economic Development Forum. The motion is that council receive the report for information. Who care to move it? Councillor Pringle, second by Councillor Boston. And yeah, maybe I could just yield the floor to you, Administrator Roy, because this is a new item for council, and you could give us an overview of what's going on with that initiative.
Yes, Your Worship. Last summer, when the three communities met, the three councils, after that, there was some discussion about having some joint discussions at the staff level. We ended up establishing this forum between the TASIS, MFN, and the Village of Gold River to explore the economic development and issues that could be collaborated on. We've had 4 meetings since that's happened. The first meeting, couple of meetings were more organizational, getting ourselves kind of organized. We've talked on 3 main topics at this point, which was DMO, potentially a regional MRDT, and transportation to Campbell River have been the 3 main topics. MRDT, it doesn't look like it's going to get the support to move forward. We're not sure we're at the DMO. We do have another meeting coming up. As part of our terms of reference, though, every quarter I'll be reporting out on whatever activities or discussions we've had. So this is the first report out since we formed.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Any questions to the administrator on this item? Just one question I have, Administrator Roy, the council engagement, council to council, there's also a component in there about council to council interaction, isn't there?
Yes, in our terms of reference, we also talked about the council level meeting at least twice a year too.
Excellent. Councillor Pickard.
Thank you through the chair. And thanks, Administrator Roy, for your report and for speaking on it. And I just had one question. I sent it an email, but just some following up that if there's minutes from the meetings, it would be really good to have in council meetings in our agendas just as information for us to follow and keep up with. Because even though quarterly meeting or quarterly reports to council are great and it's really important stuff and big issues, I had 3 meetings with Rynick last week and spoke about MRDT and DMOs, and then also spoke to different councillors and mayors and stuff at TASIS on the weekend. But without knowing any of this is happening and knowing any of the details, knowing that, say, MRDT has been spoken about regionally, it makes my conversations a little bit less effective and less educated, and just I think it would be a lot more beneficial to everybody if we just were a little bit more up to date on what was happening at the time. So when we say go into consultations or into talks, we know where we're at.
Administrator Roy, can you respond to that?
Again, these are operational level meetings. If by that token, then there's other meetings that we have minutes on that you could be and then shared with council in theory. Really, this is operational at this point. Once we have something to bring forward, then that's when we would rise up and report that back to council. It's sort of part of our research stage and research level of things that we're looking at and having discussions on. So really, we don't normally share those minutes. It's really at the working level.
But if the counselor wished to visit you in your office, Administrator Roy, you could be quite willing to update her on what's transpired.
Of course, Your Worship.
Terrific, thank you, sir. Any subsequent to
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. And I'll do that for sure. And also just this kind of the same thoughts as Mayor Lott had also. So, you know, from the report and from from speaking there, that MRDT is maybe off the not considered for the region, but I think as Mayor Lott suggested, maybe a council to council meet and explain why a region-wide MRDT would be beneficial for everyone, for TASIS, for Gold River, for MMFN, and kind of building ourselves up as a region of Nootka Sound. You know, maybe if we explained it a little bit more, or just kind of got a chance as council and mayor to say why this was beneficial for us and the whole region, I think it could be really beneficial and a big part of kind of our communication and relationship building and reconciliation.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, call for the question. All in favor, receiving the report, done. Reports to committee, not seeing any, move on. Bylaw, tax rate bylaw. Movement is that council give the first three readings to the tax rate bylaw number 757, 2025. Who'd care to move it? Councilor Pringle? Second by Councilor Waymeyer. Any discussion? Perfect. Seeing none, call for the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Correspondence. The block correspondence. Council received the block correspondence for information. Who care to move it? Councilor Fossen, second by Councilor Waymeyer. And discussion. If I remember correctly, there was an ask in there. Somebody would go to represent the village for the volunteer appreciation. Anyone interested in undertaking that? Councilor Fossen, are you volunteering? Is that what you're doing? Or are you just? That works for me. So Councilor Fossen, you will be the designate that day. Thank you. And Mr. Roy, are you getting back to them and advising them of that?
Yes, Your Worship, I will advise them.
Thank you, sir. Great. Any other discussion? No, call for the question. All in favor, carried unanimously. Done. New business items. Did you want to read in your first business item there? Councilor Waymer, are you the new business number one?
That was Councilor Pickard.
Councilor Pickard, would you care to read your motion?
Yep, sure. Okay, so maybe I think we decided at the beginning we would combine the forestry initiatives with Councilor Waymeyer's, and Councilor Waymeyer's been our forest and tree man. So Councilor Waymeyer, do you want to see what's the same or read yours out first? Because I'm pretty sure they're probably close to the same thing without seeing yours. You can go ahead if you want to.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So the motion would be to approve the letter of support on behalf of Mayor and Council of the Village of Gold River to the Minister of Forestry.
Did just the rest of it? That's good?
Yep, I think
Okay.
that's good.
Cares, move that, second it, moved by Councilor Pringle, second by Councilor Fossen. Any discussion? Councilor Pringle.
To the chair, I just want to say thank you to our counselors for both being so diligent, and
Mhm.
it's so neat to kind of see both of you guys have almost the same letters. And I really thank you for your diligence on this, and I think it's a great thing to do, and I'm in full support.
Terrific, thank you. Councilor Waymar.
I suppose through the chair to Councilor Pickard, thank you for your motion. And I also sent you an email of the copy everybody else has in front of them.
Great.
it more or less says, just kind of gives a background of Gold River and how forestry is part of our identity.
Yes.
And the big asks coming out of it are 2 bullet points taken from an initiative from the city of Nanaimo and the municipality of North Cowichan, who did a joint letter. Those asks being realizing the minister's mandate letter of achieving a harvest level of 45 million cubic meters in 2025 and beyond, and streamline the permitting and regulatory process for harvesting. I mean, these are 2 huge things for a community that, used to have a lot of income coming from, a mill site. And now we're getting a lot of our municipal income through a TFL. And our TFLs aren't going to work if we're not hitting the AACs, and they're not going to hit the AACs if they don't have permits in front of them. So yeah, that's very much the basis of this letter and why it should be super important to Gold River.
Thank you, Councillor Waymire. Councillor Pickard, did you want to weigh in on that?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Councillor Pringle, for your support. That's awesome. And thank you so much, Councillor Waymire, for your motion and your support here. I know you've been really following the forestry stuff and the Western stuff. So, and just unfortunately weren't able to be at AVIC, but there was lots of talk about that there. And so I'm glad, you and everyone's up to speed. And one big highlight there was that there's so many pressures with the softwood lumber duties and tariffs and just uncertainty in global markets. But this issue that we're facing right now is born from our provincial government. And we have no permits in TFL 19 to cut, which led to the shutting down of a manufacturing plant in Cowichan because they had no fiber supply. And this is I said, what's the cause? And it's our own provincial permitting process. So I think this is where we can put pressure on. This is where we can help our residents, our industry, and the workers, is putting pressure on the provincial government to expedite permitting processes. So we appreciate Western as, a large contributor to our tax base and a large employer, and want to work with them. And Councillor Waymire, one kind of follow-up thing is we can do a Village of Gold River support letter, or one thing that we talked about with Brad McRae and the mayor of Campbell River, Mayor Dahl, was possibly making a North Island, like timber harvesters letter. That was kind of manufacturing for South Island, but we could do our own, but also be part of a joint letter. And Mayor Dahl does the North Island Joint Resource Committee through the SRD. So he thought maybe he could kind of spearhead something for North Island that he could send out from there. And then we could all do a North Island joint letter too, in addition, just to put as much pressure as we can on getting this expedited.
Thank you, Councillor Pickard. Any other discussion? Nope. Good. Couple of questions. All in favor? Carried unanimously. And new business number 2, the second motion is, who would care to move that one? Is that going to be you, Councillor Pickard?
Yeah, sure. Do you want me to read it out?
Whenever you're ready to go.
Okay. I'm on a different page now, so.
I thought there might be a delay in communication.
I flipped screens to read it, but this is really similar to Councillor Waymire's thoughts for forestry, but it's another industry that's under siege in Gold River and one of our big economic drivers and employers. So it's aquaculture, and our mayor and council has been really supportive in the past, and we have done 2 letters of support, which have been excellent. And so we have a lot of the details and info to go from. Now we're kind of focusing on the Honorable Diana Gibson, the Minister of Jobs, Economic Development and Innovation, who is kind of overseeing the aquaculture stuff, and Brian Kingsit on when we talked to BC Salmon Farmers Association at AVIC, and also Jennifer Woodland yesterday. They've been liaison with her and with the BC deficit that's come out and kind of the challenges the BC government is having and this new tariff stuff. They're really starting to listen to the aquaculture, like the economic viability of it and the opportunity that there is, and not only what we're losing, but what we're losing in the future by not supporting innovation, what we could have. So this would just be a support letter similar to what we've already done, but just to a new recipient, Diana Gibson.
Who'd care to move it? Counselor Pringle? Good care, second it, Counselor Waymire? Any other discussion? Counselor Waymire?
Through the chair, thank you again, Councillor Pickard, and I think this is going to look really good on a Gold River letterhead. So thank you.
I like that. Any follow-up to that, Counselor Pickard, or can we move on?
No, thank you, Counselor Waymire. and everyone.
Okay, great. No other discussion. Call for the question. All in favor? Done. Question period. Did we have any questions online, Administrator Roy? Any questions from the gallery? Nope. Thank you. No notice of motions. Terrific. Motion to adjourn in camera. Who care to, let's see, I'm supposed to read this out. Yeah, the council proceed in camera pursuant to section 91C, labor relations or other employee relations. Who'd care to move it? Counselor Austin, Counselor Waymire. And we are now in camera. So when we go in camera, you remember the drill? From your days where you used to kick everybody else out?